Welcome to Java, everybody. That's right, 2 tutorials one day, 2 different streams. I'm churning back on the music. Let's see what we've got in store for ourselves today. So first of all, IntelliJ idea. Get the community version. Install it. I don't know what profiling tools are. I don't know what. Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. You can just get plugins. Honestly, you can get plugins to do these things for you because it's the open source version. And so the community version of all the IntelliJ products are just as good as the professional versions, really, except for CLion. CLion, you actually they just have a trial version. Because CLion is extremely powerful. So let's get going here. Upon arrival to the IDE, file, new project, you're going to just have a plus button on a smaller window. You're going to create a project, just select Java, next. Whatever. Okay. Oh, I think it's Ben's. Yeah. So anyway, you create a project. Let's do com.jimthescientist.tutorial. Create a class, call it main. We can actually just copy the code over from the other link, which was over here, big brain. Crap up here, and if we need to keep our package. Tutorial. Build moment. Okay. So if we run this, yes, you get hello world. Java, woohoo. So it's working, that's good. So all you have to do is, install IntelliJ. You'll create a new project. Just go forward. You might have to install, hold on. Oh yeah. You might have to choose a JDK and an SDK. It's not, there are no thens. This is not there kind of are thens. Every project is like a virtual environment in Java because you compile it and it can all run on, you don't have to install those prerequisites like Python. It's a little bit different. Anyway, you can choose, there are quite a bit of versions that I have for a lot of different things. On my laptop, I even have version 13 on it. Don't worry about it. If you're doing Minecraft, you're using 1.8, or you're using the most recent version if you're doing non-Minecraft stuff. Actually, some Minecraft stuff might still use more recent versions. Anyways, here's the main configuration. It'll auto-create that when you run this. Anyway, first we've got to 49-inch curved 8K, whatever. Okay, Discord moment. We go here, Java, we've set it up. You might have to install a Java JDK or SDK. But I think that IntelliJ actually has options for that inside. So if we go here, File, New, Project, yes, we can actually go, you can add one or you can download one if you already have one installed. Yeah, see? You can literally just like go to Corretto if you want. Go to Adopt OpenJDK. I like this one. Adopt OpenJDK is pretty good. You can just download whatever, and it just works really. I don't know what that's for. It might be for this. Yeah, it's for this. Don't select these. Just click next. Click next. Create a project name. Choose a location. Click finish. And what you're going to do here is you're just going to right-click new. You're going to create a package. You can create as many of these under SRC as you want. It doesn't really matter though. I mean, yeah. Fern Flower Decompiler. That's a compiled class. That's old Minecraft mods used to be made that way. They're not anymore. Anyway, through this weird thing with the non-jar method. src com.genderscientist.tutorial main. You have package at the top, you have public class main, it must match this up here. Then you just have public static void main. This is like your function or your method. You can take arguments. This is string with these things in Java. You put a, when you're declaring a variable, like X or Y, you need to put the type of variable followed by the actual variable name. So when you're creating like an object as well, or like like an object, you actually need to put the class name, and then you need to put the name of your version of that class. That's going to make sense later. If you're completely new to programming, that's not going to make sense at all what I just said. That's fine. Here's what we're going to do. First things first. We're going to go to our Java tutorial. This is a simple hello world script. Here's our intro. As you can see, you can check your Java version and main.java. Public class main, public static void main string args, system out.println hello world, blah blah blah. Great. If you're new to programming, that's your hello world script. Every language is going to have you do this first. It's just like how we do things when you're learning a new language. You learn how to do system.out.println. You learn how to use a print statement. What does this all mean? In Java, every Java file is a class. A class stores information and commands and things, and you can run a class or you can access a class from somewhere else. So our Java file here is called main. This is our function or method or whatever. I don't actually know exactly what we call them. Let's see here. It should actually say it here. Yeah, Java methods. So yeah, it's called a method in Java. A method is basically a function, like in algebra. Here's your name of your function. So this could be like f, and then in here you have what you need. In this case, it's args. String args is basically saying it's going to accept all. This is a string. A string is like letters or words. This thing after it means that you can have multiple of them to create like an array. And then you just have args. which is arguments. So it's things that you put in when you run the Java file. Where can we do that in IntelliJ? We can, let's see, so print just means system.out.println. You can also just do normal print here, but this will create a new line each time you do something down here. That's literally just going to put it into your command prompt. This is our command prompt down here. When you run it, it's going to put whatever you put inside of these parentheses into your command prompt, whatever strings you put into these parentheses into your command prompt. So if we put a plus here, and then we do args, we can actually edit configurations and add program arguments like beans. Let's see if that works. I'm not sure if it will. Yes. So we need to do args, and then this thing here will basically say the first thing in it. If you're doing 0, it's the first thing. It's the first argument. Each argument divided by a space. So if I say beans are good, beans is argument 0, R is argument 1, and good is argument 2. It's a little bit confusing, but that should work. Hello world, and then beans, and I can put a space after the world. I just ran it in debug mode, didn't I? Cancel. Okay. No, don't do that. Don't do that. We're doing normal. Okay. Hello world beans. Anyway, basics. Woohoo! Let me go and make sure. Okay, that's concrete halls by C418. Let's get rid of that. Let's go here. Edit configurations. We'll get rid of that, just to avoid confusion. Anyway, you've learned how to put hello world, how to copy and paste code, basically. So, going back to our whiteboard here, we're going to first talk about data types. Here are our data types. Oh, yeah, see? Integer, my number equals 5. Float, my float number equals 5.99, and then you can put an F after it. I don't think it really matters. I mean, I guess it does, but it doesn't. Car, my letter D. Boolean, my bool, true. String, my text, hello. What do all of these mean? Well, if you watched my Python tutorial, which you don't have to do, but it will make things a little bit easier because you'll have knowledge on kind of how in general these things work. An integer is what you learn in math class. It's a number that doesn't have a decimal point. A float is a number with a decimal point. There are longs. I don't think they're in here for a while. Longs are like, you can't have some really big integers, and so we just make them longs instead. It's just a different kind of binary, like there's a different number of bits in it, so it's made to take up an integer. Doesn't all integers take up a set amount of bits of space, but we have longer types of numbers. If you have really big numbers, it'll just change the number of like bits that we use to store that number with by changing int to long or something. So anyway, we take a float. This is, I think, 4 bits. No. Yeah, let's see. Java integer bits. Ints are 32 bits. Longs are 64 bits, blah, blah, blah. These different things have different number of bits. That's why you need to tell it whether it's an int or a float or a whatever. There's normal number, decimal number, character, my letter. A character is not something that we use in Python like at all. I think it exists. Do we have one in Python? I think we just literally treat a string as a... Yeah, we don't really... Okay, we can make a character. That it is a thing. It's just not something we really use at all. And in Java, it's the same thing, except for you do use it more just because you have to tell Java that it is a character. So if you have a one-letter variable, you just call it a character inside of Java, and it saves space. Barely any space, but when you have a lot of them, it does save space. And that's why we don't really talk about it in Python, but we do in Java. A Boolean, true or false. It's just a 1 or a 0, a true or a false. That's all a Boolean is. A string is multiple characters. Now, as you can see, we use semicolons in Java after every single thing, except like operations, like an if statement, which you probably know what an if statement is just from the name of it. If you don't, it says, if this is true, then do this. And we use brackets after the, well, you'll learn actually. The only places we don't use semicolons are after these, after like we say public class and we use a bracket instead whenever we have an indent. You don't need to have indents, but it's nice to have indents whenever we have an indent. After one of these like public static voids, public, or the packet, or no, not after the package, sorry. After the functions, if statements, classes. Did I say functions? I meant methods. We put a curly bracket. And then semicolons are for instructions, basically. Or for after instructions. So, oh, there's actually a chart here. Okay, that's nice. So, a byte is a byte. It stores whole numbers from negative 128 to 127. A short is 32,000, 4 bytes an integer, 2 billion, or no, 2 billion, yeah, okay. A long, as you can see, these increase in size very fast. This is 9 quintillion. A float stores fractional numbers. It's 4 bytes, or 24-bit, I don't know. A double is 8. Wait, did I do the math terribly there? I just did, right? Like 4 times 8. Is that 48 or 24? I don't know. Wait, no, they're in groups of... Whatever. Double, 8 bytes, stores fractional numbers. Sufficient for storing 15 decimal digits, so... Okay, so the double is 8 bytes, just 15 decimal digits. A Boolean, 1 bit, true or false, as I said. A character, 2 bytes, stores a single character / letter or ASCII value. That's pretty nice. Anyway, that should all make sense. If it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably like have a basic understanding. You don't need to know this. Size doesn't matter in in Java when we're talking about this. It doesn't matter until you're like analyzing Java and how it works. It's just the description and the data type that matters right now. Anyway, this is a long, how cool, example, floats. That's a float. That's a double. blah blah blah. Is Java fun? Let's just change that. Okay, no. I can just.
What? Is this for spaghetti? Yes. Check your text.
Okay. And then this one should definitely be true. I don't know what they're thinking here. I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but it's worth it. Anyways, what I was doing. Oh yeah, that's better. And this is incorrect. Get wrecked, nerd. Character my grade equals B. You have a B. Get a better grade. Anyways, if you want this, it's in the description of the video. If you want this page, it's in the description of the video. And I've put it in the live chat. Anyway, continuing on. Ascii values to display certain characters. So, yes, you can literally just use the ASCII value to display the character when you set a character name. That's different from Python as well. Well, I mean, it might be the same as Python. I don't know if you can actually just use straight up a number and character around it, but this is not something you do in Python a lot. You don't usually convert numbers to characters just by saying character A equals 65. So, anyway, string greeting, hello world, system.out.println, greeting. It's another hello world code. How great. Anyway, now that you've, you should keep this up in case you make a mistake so you remember what these things are. Remember at the top here, use these, don't use anything else, just use integer, float, character, and boolean and string. Actually, don't even use character if you don't want. You don't have to use character if you don't want. You can just use string. It doesn't really matter what you choose for now. If you just want to keep it simple, I recommend just using strings and not using the characters for now. You might want to change that when you work on larger projects with other people. Anyway, Java typecasting. So, if we go back to our whiteboard here, we've just finished data types. That was quite fast, because in Python, we don't just literally say the name of the... it's much faster than the Python tutorial. I'll just leave it at that. It's a little bit more confusing. Okay, someone just said something to me on Discord. Anyway, data types. We went over that. General flow and method/classes. That's right. Casting. Java typecasting. So anyway, converting a smaller type to a larger type. Converting a larger type to a smaller size type. This is not important in other languages, but it's important in Java, or in languages like Python, but it's important in Java. So they've actually put it straight up at the beginning of this. Anyway, this is widening. It's super easy. All you say is my integer is 9, my double is my int. It's that easy. You can just, you know, make an integer into that by literally putting the variable name here and then putting your new variable name and your new type there. However, narrowing casting is a little bit different. In this case, we have a double, so a complex float, basically. My double is 9.78. Int my int equals int my double. Manual casting double to int. So what we're doing here is we're taking 9.78 and we are putting int in parentheses here, and we're saying that my new integer is going to be kind of like this. This is kind of like a way of converting things. You just put like the 9.78 here and you put an int here, and it's going to turn into an integer. And in Java, it's literally just going to make it a 9. so that's great. All right, that was pretty simple and straightforward. Now let's get to Java operators. Actually, you know what? Let's display this. We need to do a little bit more interaction inside of our actual program. I just forgot to. Okay. Anyway, this is main. If we run it, you'll see 9 turns into 9.0. If I make this 8 and I run it, 8 is 8.0. We can change this to be 9.0, and look, now it'll say 8 and 9.0 because I no longer have the variable name there. So in general, oh shoot, I forgot. In general, oh geez, I clicked. When you have this, when you have an equals sign, this side of it, the left side of your equals sign, whatever you put over here, the first thing you're going to put is the name. That's weird. Name or type of data you want to store, and then the data to store. And then on the other side, that's literally the same thing we're doing here. This is the type of data, along with make it multiple of them, an array, like a list of them. And then the data to store is just whatever is passed here, or the type of data in this case is a double or a complex float, or like a longer float. And then the data to store is my double on this side of the equal sign. We have the first thing is going to be what you want to do to the data, and this is optional. And then you have the actual representation of that data. So like what you want to be the data could be, I don't know, let's look at this. Type of data, double. Data to store, it's going to save it as my double. On this side of the equals sign, you have what you want to do to the data. We don't have that here, but we do have it down here. We want to make it an integer, so we put parentheses and int. If we run that, what happens? We get 9 and 9.78. Because these are backwards. This one's printing the output first and the double second. And then here is the actual representation of that data. What is the representation of that data? Well, it's a double, it's my double, and it's 9.78. Good job. We have learned how data storing and data types work in Java. So why don't we take this a little bit further and we use operators. They're pretty straightforward. All it is like your typical 3rd grade math. I don't know. We have integers is someone, and it's just this plus this, this plus this, this plus this. They have the answers here. So we can take this and we can put it in our main thing here, and we can do system.out.println. What do we want to put in here? Maybe we want to put some 3. Nope, 3. And don't forget your semicolon. You run it, and we're going to get 800. 800. That's right. It's literally just sum 1 is 100 plus 50, which is 150. Sum 2 is sum 1, which is 150, plus 250. It's just the number. Sum 3 is going to be 400, because sum 2 is 400, plus sum 2 again is 400. So this could be sum 2 times 2 if you want. And here's how you would make it sum 2 times 2. We can go in here. Let's delete this. Sum 2 times 2. That's all it takes. All you do is you use Shift 8. Or if you're on like an English American keyboard or something. Anyways, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus returns a division remainder. Division remainders are a bit odd. Pretty cool though. Your increment increases the value by 1. So if we do sum 3 plus plus and then a semicolon, it's just going to increase it by 1, and that's really useful for a loop. So something that you do over and over again, each time you do it, if you just add a plus plus to the end of it, it's the same as saying int sum 3 equals sum 3 plus 1. It's like the same as saying that. Here, I have to attend to something. Anyway, that's kind of basically how operators, this is just a basic operator thing. Here are assignment operators. This is like plus plus, but you can say your own number at the end. Yeah, see, it says it's what it's the same as here. Whatever that means. Anyway, operators, these are comparisons, so it returns a true. If x equals y, it'll return true. If it's not equal, if x is not equal to y, it'll return true. In this one, if x is greater than y, it will return true. If x is less than y, it will return true. If x is greater than or equal to y, it will return true. If x is less than or equal to y, it will return true. If x is not less than or equal to y, okay, I'm being yelled at, it will return false. Anyway, logical and or not. Multiply 10 with 5 and print the result. 10 times 5. That's the answer. I don't even have to submit it. For now, that's fine. I'm going to pick up with part 2 of this, part 1, in a while, later night. That's going to be all for now. And if you're here, I guess,